Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, it's football season, baby. Comes tonight. It's the real kickoff of college football. It's no more week 0, folks. No more games in Ireland. We're talking about Gator football. Look at me doing the Gator chop this morning. Look, it's got to be football season if I'm doing the Gator chop. Gator football tonight. Scott Carter will join us with the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report live from Utah. Might even have some fans calling in from Utah. Never know. So let's get it going. FSU and LSU just down the road here. Oh, yeah, I'll be there on Sunday night. The big tailgate party is on. Let's go, FSU. We got USF starting the Alex Golesh era this week in Western Kentucky. Let's go. Let's see what that's all about. We got you all covered today on the JP Peterson Show, so don't you worry. Peter Blake joining me from a rain-soaked holiday.
Yes.
Are the streets flooded up there? What's going on?
To a certain degree, but not really outside where I'm at, but a little bit more north. Yeah, it's flooded. And I'll tell you right now, I hope we're flooded with calls today. I hope we're flooded with content today because you're exactly right. College football is about to start tonight, UF versus Utah. And, of course,
we are the Hurricane Idalia of Tampa Bay sports content. We will flood you with sports content today. So there you go.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So
there's a wet, hot metaphor for you right there.
There you go.
All right, so we got Leo Haggerty's going to join us today to preview the USF Western Kentucky game. He goes to all the press conferences over there. He and Alex Golesh are like tight, man, thick as thieves. So we'll talk to him. We got Harry the Greek coming on, one of your guys, to talk a little gambling today. I got some picks for him. We'll see if our picks match up here for the big college football weekend. So we'll get some picks. Get your pencils out and get ready to make some money. Also, Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com will join us live from Utah as the 14th-ranked Utes throw their third-string quarterback out there because Cam Rising is hurt. I guess the number 2 guy's hurt too. And they will take on the Florida Gators. So lots to talk about, get to in the show. And, of course, we'll get to some Bucks talk as well. Kind of a downtime for them. Man, I tell you what, you know what's weird?
What's that?
They didn't practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think they're practicing today. And Jason Light's talking at 10:30. And then they're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
Now, I hope this is by the CBA. I hope this is, by the union, which is weird. I mean, it's like you're 2 weeks away from the season, a week away from the season, really. And they're not even practicing. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't get that.
It's too much time off for me, but again, it's a good thing because you can get healthy. Of course, a lot of fans out there concerned about Mike Evans, possible hamstring injury. Yeah, I mean,
he's got a groin. He's fine.
Yeah, Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, you want to get healthy, but you're exactly right. Too much time in between. Who did this? It sounds certainly like the NFL Players Association was behind this, but man, we're only how many days away? 10 days away from the season starting for the Bucks. I'm counting it down right now.
September 10th.
Yeah. So
yeah, no good. But anyway, we'll get to the latest developments there. Who made the practice squad and what we're looking forward to against the Minnesota Vikings. So yeah, football season is here. We're excited to announce, by the way, we will be doing a special edition of the JP Peterson Show every Friday, live from the patio. It's Football Fridays from the patio. We don't have a title sponsor yet, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the Jeeves Law Group and Mr. Scott Jeeves, Mr. Gator, will be very much involved in the patio live show every Football Friday from 5 to 7 o'clock. We'll be live there. We'll have giveaways for you guys. The liquor companies are coming on to give you. We're just going to pump up their happy hour big time. If you want to talk football, we'll have special guests. We're going to have a little microphone right there for the people, the fan mic, so you can step up with your drunken ass at the patio and, JP, what do you think of that? Well, that'll be fun, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We know we can have a 2-camera shot too if you want, or you can just get on one of the main cameras. But both of us have 4K cameras, so
That's right.
we can make this happen. We could definitely make this
We're
happen.
making it happen. It's happening. Get it together, Pete. I'm counting on you. Let's go. It's all you now, baby. You got to make this happen. The pressure is on. Hey, you got us live from the field the other day.
Yeah,
I did a hell of a job.
All right, thank you.
I'm very impressed. Very impressed. So don't F this up. All right, so we're excited about that. So let's get into the Tampa Bay Rays. What is up with this team? Hey, listen, I took one for the team again. I wrote them off a couple weeks ago. I wrote them off, and that is the surefire way for Stu to get back at me. And this Rays team, every time I write them off, here they come. Here they come. Now, I still don't think they're winning the World Series, but, they're playing some good baseball right now. What is this now? They've won 10 of their last 12, a season high. A season high, 30 games over, 500.
Wow.
Holy shiz. They've won 6 straight series. Last night, they couldn't hit Luzardo or anybody the Marlins threw out there. They couldn't hit their way out of a paper bag. And it's like one day after they explode for 11 runs, they've been smoking the ball, and then they just go flat for some reason. Who knows? Maybe it was just the cast of lefties that were thrown at them last night, whatever. But in the 10th inning, they finally get it going with Josh Lowe with a big RBI single. Aranda comes up in a pinch hit roll, knocks one to our boy Joey Wendell, who butchered that one pretty good. So they get that series over to third, and Josh Lowe's like, look, man, I'm just looking for contact. They ain't going to double me off. I'm just going to get the ball on the ground, just pull it to the right side, and we're going to get Siri in. We got to get that run in. Unselfish, right? Not trying to hit a bomb, not trying to do anything too much. Just get the ball on the ground, and what do you know? It goes through. So they get the lead 1-0, and then Arozarena comes up, knocks in a couple more. Fairbank closes it out, and the Rays get a 3-0 win. And when they couldn't score anything in 9 innings against the Marlins, and they get their 6th straight series. And here we go. And
no, absolutely. You got Randy Arozarena is getting hot at the right time. Josh Lowe talked about it last night, how he, like you said, he didn't try to do too much. You're not trying to hit a home run at that point. You're just trying to make contact. That's exactly what they did. But it's weird, and you get into this pitching duel, and we didn't talk about it enough. It's all about pitching with this team. Zach Eflin deserved a lot better. 6 innings. No runs, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts. But Jose Siri was some of the great defensive plays he made last night. I don't know if you saw that catch in the 7th inning.
Yep.
He's just diving, going to the wall. His defense has been tremendous. And I tell you right now, what an upgrade they made over Kevin Kiermaier. What an upgrade.
Yeah, look at the power. Look how much cheaper he is. That certainly makes Stu happy, no doubt about that. He's just been, and he's a spark. Not that KK wasn't, but he's exactly what they hoped he would. Actually, he's way more. What has he got? 23 home runs now. 23 home runs. KK never sniffed that.
No.
It's been tremendous to watch him play. I love the flair of which he plays the game. His speed brings a whole nother element to it. He's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. And how about Zach Eflin last night? Zach Eflin goes 6+ innings, 69 pitches. Gronk's favorite number, 69. 69 pitches, no 3-ball counts. Holy crap, no 3-ball counts. 69 pitches, 4 Ks, no walks, only gave up 4 hits, no runs at all, obviously, because we went to the 10th, a scoreless game. But Kevin Cash comes to get him in the 7th with a lefty coming up, and Eflin was not happy. He was not happy. We'll hear from Eflin, and we'll hear from Kevin Cash. But listen, it paid off. Poche comes in, gets the big strikeout. You can't bitch about that. Is it overtaxing the bullpen? Well, the bullpen was in good shape, right? They were in good shape. They got Glass now going to tomorrow night. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? They start in Cleveland.
It is tomorrow night. And I believe the game is on Apple TV, by the way, which is going to piss off a lot of fans.
Well, I went and bought it so I could watch Messi for a month. So I do. So I got a little bonus here, so I get to watch the Rays game tomorrow night. Woohoo! On Apple TV. So, but Glasnow, who's been really, really good, going up against a Cleveland team that's now 64-70. So listen, go ahead, get your sweep, at least win 2 of 3, win your 7th straight series, and just maybe you can make up some ground on the freaking Orioles. I mean, Jesus, they just playing fantastic baseball. And I've been waiting for them to slow down, but doesn't seem like they're slowing down at all. What are they at now? The Rays are a game and a half behind them, 83-50. So they're 30. The Baltimore's 33 games over 500. Oh, their run differential. This is interesting, though. The Orioles' run differential is plus 96. You know what the Rays is? Double. More than double. 186. Had to do some quick Florida State math right there.
Good job.
186. I mean, that's significant. That is significant. They are trying to check everybody else. Texas is plus 173. So the Rays have the biggest run differential in the American League. And when you look, like, Houston's only plus 103, say only. Seattle plus 108. Minnesota's in first place in the Central. They're plus 46. I mean, whatever. The Baltimore's plus 96. Toronto's only plus 64. That's a significant number. The Atlanta Braves, by the way, plus 235.
Whoa! Wow.
They're playing 659 baseball. Christmas.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's plus 21 there in first place. How about my Cubbies? I say my Cubbies now because my son lives right next to Wrigley Field. I go to a Cubs game every year now or more. They're plus 77, and dadgum, they're in the wild card already and only 2 games behind Milwaukee for first place. The Cubs are going to the freaking playoffs.
They are.
That?
I mean, it's crazy. They're going to the playoffs. I mean, where are the Orioles at again with the run differential?
Plus 96.
And the
Rays are double that. And more.
Yeah, and they still can't catch the Orioles right now, although they did get a game last night because the Orioles did lose. So 1.5 back now.
1.5 back. Who does Baltimore have this weekend? They're at Arizona. So they're at Arizona. Obviously, the Diamondbacks, a much better baseball team than the Cleveland Guardians. I still can't. The Guardians.
I get the Guardians. I can't say it either. Yeah.
So stupid. Arizona half a game back out of the wild card. They're 15 games behind the Dodgers, 69-65, with a minus 21 run differential. So look, by every statistical metric, the metric, the Rays have been dominant this year. And as the Facebook user says, I can't see the name. Keep writing them off. I'll do it. I'll take one for the team, baby. I'll keep writing them off, and they'll keep proving me wrong.
That's Brian Boker, by the way. Brian Boker. Yes.
I'm good, buddy. That's fine. I'll take the abuse. I'll take one for the team. I'll just keep saying it. They're not winning the World Series. And then maybe they'll win the World Series, but I doubt it. Very seriously.
Yeah.
By the way, Tim at DSP Media, go Tigers with your GEA. Why you LSU people don't even know how to spell? You have no idea how to spell. I mean, come on. It's not G-A-G-E-A, whatever the hell you say it is. Or Joe Burrow is not spelled the way you think it is, the way you guys say it is. You bunch of freaking crazy-ass Cajuns. I'm going to whoop your ass on Sunday night.
Love it.
I do. I tell you what, I do love me some LSU people. LSU people are some of the most fun. They don't give a shiz about any. They don't care. They will do. A party is a party is a party. By the way, did you see the Gator, the world record? I know we're going off on a tangent here.
Yeah,
we got coming. A world record Gator that those crazy ass Cajuns pulled out of the bayou the other day. 14 feet, over 800 pounds. The belly was almost 6 feet wide, bro. 6 feet wide.
That's crazy.
And these crazy ass Cajuns Said, "Oh, let's go get me some gator. And let's go get. I'm gonna go get a gator that's 800 pounds. Yeah, let's go do that." That's not a very good Cajun accent, but
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
pretty
tell you
good.
what. We're gonna get on. We're gonna for 7 hours. We're gonna get on this airboat or this little canoe we's in, and we're gonna go pull up an 800-pound gator. They did it.
You
I
sound
don't know how they were drunk as coots, but they did it. So, tip of the cap to you crazy ass Cajuns.
you
Pulling
sound
out
like
an 800-pound gator from the freaking bayou. What's wrong with you people?
the coach from LSU. What was his name?
Oh, Brian Kelly. You mean when he did his fake Cajun accent?
Not Brian Kelly, the coach before.
Hey, those are wrong.
Hey, those are wrong.
I'll tell you now, we're gonna get that gator out of the bayou. We're gonna get him out. He's only about 800 pounds. There's nothing. I'll put him out with my bare hands. Yeah, I'll shut him up myself. Yeah, I'll stick my big fat forearm down his mouth. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, those are wrong. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Yeah, baby. I miss that guy. I miss that guy.
Yes.
He's out there banging co-eds with his $25 million walk away money. Good for him. That guy was so off the rails. But hey, Brian Kelly, he's a good football coach. He's a good football coach.
Yes, he is.
They probably have no idea what the hell he's doing. Like, professional. As I heard somebody say, what's the guy on ESPN that was on this morning telling me, Peter Burns telling me how bad LSU is going to beat FSU because they got the best coach in which I said this myself. I'm a little worried about Mike Norvell vis-a-vis versus Brian Kelly because I think maybe we got a little out-coached last year, but FSU has more talent, and I think Mike hopefully will coach this year not like he's at Memphis, like he has to pull every trick out of the bag. Just coach them up and let them go. Let them do their thing, Coach. I know you know what you're doing. All right, we got Leo.
We do have Leo. Yes, we got him right here. Let me go ahead and go out to him really quick here. There he is, Mr. Leo Haggerty.
The great Leo Haggerty. All right, man. Good to have you back, my friend.
It is, but you expect me to follow an Ed Ogeron segment? Come on, you got to be kidding me. You talking like that? I don't know who I'm talking to over there. I'm looking for Ed Ogeron. Is Ed Ogeron there?
I miss that guy, that crazy coot.
Wasn't it great? Man. And only because he was at LSU and he talked like he had a mouthful of marbles, which was great. It was perfect because when he'd go on after the game and go, we just played so well at old LSU. We just played so well.
Now Brian Kelly comes in here talking like a northerner and trying to do a Cajun accent. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, but you know what? His football team works and they got better as the year went on. Jaden Daniels, their quarterback, is sensational. They're a good football team. Ain't no doubt about it. I think Florida State and LSU are probably two of the best 5 teams in the nation, and having them square off in the first game of the year is going to be tremendous theater on Sunday night. I cannot wait. That Camping World, that crappy ass Camping World Stadium. I don't know why the hell we're playing in that crappy ass stadium, but whatever. Yeah, that place. But Nose will be ready. It's going to be a fun game. But that's not why we have you here, Leo, because you are all things USF. We'd love to get your take on what's going on with the Bulls. Alex Golesh, look, he wasn't my first choice for the job. A lot of people at USF were like, we're going with an offensive coordinator again, not a proven head coach like a Tom Herman or, dare I say, Deion Sanders. But it is what it is. I met with Coach. I think the world of him. He's got a lot of energy. I don't know how good of a coach he is. I don't know how good of a leader he is. We're about to find out. I'm pulling for him. I think he's got a lot of great qualities. What has been your impression of Alex Golesh? You've been to all the press conferences. What are your thoughts?
You know what, JP and Peter, what I do like about him is there's no doubt who's in charge. He is running the show. I mean, as soon as I heard they were spending 11 days away at a hotel, I go, okay, this guy's going to run a first-class program. He's going to do it his way. And I'm going to give USF and Michael Kelly and administration, they just basically said, okay, carte blanche, do what you need to do to get us to win football games. And I'll tell you what, if you watch Tennessee last year on offense, If he can get anywhere close to that, this team's going to score a buttload of points. And that's what that defense needs. They need to have somebody put up 35, 40, 42 points because I'll tell you what, in the college game, you hold somebody under 24, that's a great afternoon.
Yeah.
It's just all the rules are favoring the offense.
I agree with that. So, and that was kind of my thing is like, listen, the offense wasn't the problem under Jeff Scott. They had some really good players, all of whom have left, by the way. Brian Battie and the receivers, those guys are gone. And he's brought in a lot of different players, but the defense was the issue. How have they fixed the defense?
You know what, JP? That's the question. And I asked Coach Orlando yesterday. One of my big questions was, when I talk to guys that are in the playoffs or in a bowl game, the biggest problem is paralysis of analysis. You guys got so much time to prepare. I said, you've been preparing for Western Kentucky for a month, maybe two. Have you had to pare stuff down because you just have too much? He said, yeah, we do. We actually had too much in. We had to pull stuff back. But the bottom line, guys, we have seen this game for so long. It all starts up front. They did not get a pass rush. They could not put pressure on the quarterback. And Peter, JP, I have preached to you guys as long as I've been on shows with you. If a quarterback can throw it where he wants to, when he wants to whom he wants to, he's winning the game. You got to get him off his spot. You got to make him feel uncomfortable. I'll tell you what, through the portal, they got a lot of really big edge rushers and a lot of really big inside people. Can they put pressure on the quarterback? Yeah, that's the bottom line because no pressure. I don't care who you got playing the secondary, they're getting beat.
Speaking of quarterback, do you think there is a legitimate competition between Bohannon and Brown because the coach there, Coach Golish, refuses to name a starter? And has he mentioned what quarterback reminds him most of Hendon Hooker from Tennessee?
You know what, Peter? I asked him that question, and he said both of them, they don't have all the qualities, but he's seeing some of the qualities from Hendon Hooker. I'll tell you what, JP, you and I know this. You played the position. You want competition at 21 positions. You don't want it a quarterback. You want a guy to walk in the first day. I don't care what was going on at Tennessee last year. Hendon Hooker could have had the worst camp in the world. He was going to start under center. Gary Bohannon's starting under center. He just doesn't want to tell everybody. It's the same thing with the Bucks. Why'd you sign Baker Mayfield if he's not the starter? Everybody knew this was going to happen. The fact that they tried to keep it a secret, nah, you don't want competition at quarterback. You want a guy settled in, and I think that's Bohannon.
Well, and if it is Bohannon, we saw last year there was a lot of hype around him, and he didn't necessarily deliver the way people thought he would. I thought he would be tremendous. We had him on our show. Seems like an incredible leader, great kid, very mature. But when it came down to game time, he just didn't deliver like we thought he would. What's different this year?
A healthy Gary Bohannon. That's the biggest thing. I'll tell you what. I feel sorry for Jeff Scott. In his tenure there, he had to go through COVID the first year. Right. There were times he didn't have 75 guys to practice. He looked like a beat dog. And he never got enough guys on defense. I mean, he had 18 scholarship players on defense, just couldn't get them. And you talk about a team that was snake bitten with injuries. Bohannon goes down. Donovan Jenkins goes down. I mean, they just went down like they looked like the French fighting at the Maginot line. Man, they were going down right and left. It was terrible.
Well, and the thing that I noticed last year, when I went to a couple games, because I like to see things, with my own two eyes, and that's not necessarily just on TV. And boy, were they small up front defensively. Oh. My God. I mean, they would bring guys in. I'm like, is that a safety that's playing nose tackle? I think that's a small linebacker in the 3 technique. I mean, they were so small up front. Any team, all they had to do is just hand the ball off. And of course, if they wanted to throw, they had all the time in the world to throw. I've never seen a team more smaller up front than USF. So you tell me they brought in some beef and some guys up front that can actually hold the line.
Yeah, they got some beef in there, and they got a couple really long and lean edge rushers, which I think is huge because, again, if you don't get to the quarterback, get your hands up, make it miserable for him to try to see. But yeah, JP, that was a small team. I mean, I would just look at. In fact, I even asked the defensive coordinator. I said, "What's to keep a team from just running it down your throat?"
Yeah.
He said, "Not much."
Not much.
And you know what, guys? With the
I love
college
the
game,
honesty.
yeah, with the college game, and you have to understand that with the wide hash marks, if they go 3-by-1 away, and look what Tennessee did last year. They put a wide receiver 5 yards from each sidelines. Boy, you don't necessarily stretch the defense vertically. You're stretching it horizontally. There are open spaces all over the place. And I'll tell you what, when you look at that, when you look at the college game, what they can do with offensive and RPOs and that, why does NFL teams not use RPOs so much? Because your linemen can only go 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. In college, they can go 3 yards.
Yeah.
That's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, real quick to finish up, give me a little scouting report on this Western Kentucky team. They're a tremendous offensive team. This should be a shootout if Golish and his up-tempo offense can get it rolling.
Boy, I'll tell you what, JP, I wouldn't be surprised to see the loser in the 40s. Because
Wow.
There's going to be points.
Yeah, what's the total on this game? We got Harry the Greek coming up in the Gambler, but I'm going over.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you what, no matter what it is, it may be over by halftime. That's the crazy thing. Again, Western's going to go toe-to-toe with you point for point, and it's just going to be a matter of seeing whether USF can control the clock a little bit. And again, there's a big rule change, which we need to make your listeners aware of. When the first down is made, the clock doesn't stop anymore in college, just the last 2 minutes of each half. So it's probably going to take away maybe, 2 or 3 possessions, maybe 4 a half.
They lost 7% of the plays in week 0. 7% of the plays gone in week 0. That's a lot.
Oh, hey, that's huge. In fact, I asked Coach Golish, the middle 8, and he thought it was a new conference coming, which was hysterical. The guy's got a sense of humor. That middle 8, the 4 minutes before halftime, the 4 minutes after. I said, is that going to affect your offense? He said, nope, we go full out from the get-go, so it's not going to affect him. Again, I expect to see USF win the football game, but it's probably going to be like 56-40.
Wow. All right, Leo, you've interviewed Coach Golish. Do you get the sense he's more Jim Leavitt?
Oh, yeah. But Jim Leavitt with a sense of humor. Jim Leavitt, hey, you had to dig to find that sense of humor. But I can remember the first press conference I had. I want to
talk about punt team.
Yeah. I asked him a question, and he goes, before I answer that, hey, welcome back. I heard a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about you. So we'll see what happens. So, yeah, he's got a sense of humor. And what I like about him is he doesn't jump around and try to avoid questions. You ask him a question, you're going to get an answer. And you're going to get a very thorough, thought-out answer. In fact, the last question I asked him, I said, you're going to get a chance to do the Newt Rockne speech. And, JP, you and I know about the Newt Rockne speech.
Of course, yeah.
It's that motivational pregame speech. And I go, Coach, this is your first as a head coach. Have you thought about doing this? It's going to be a cappella. He goes, no, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it. But here was his answer. This is great. If I have to make the speech 22 minutes before kickoff to get these kids motivated, we missed the boat. I said, what a great answer. I'll tell you what, they're going to be prepared. Let's see what happens.
All right, Leo, great stuff. Good to see you back, my friend. Good to see you healthy. You're on your game. I can see that. You got your energy. We'd love to have you on, man. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
I appreciate it. Let's do this again, guys.
All right, we will. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk some gambling. Harry the Greek's going to join us. We're going to give you some college picks, some pro picks, all kinds of good picks. And he better be right. I don't want him giving any bad info to my people. Lord knows they get enough bad picks from me. We don't need him bringing more bad picks. All right, we're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking for a new primary care physician, telling you, Chris Lugo's a great one to pick at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Spends an hour 20 with me, my first 45 minutes with my second appointment. You don't get that kind of stuff from your regular doctor, folks. BAMMC.com. They'll do everything in a personal way. Go to the website, BAMMC.com, and get an appointment. Back in 3 with Harry the Greek. Stay with us.
For the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves, call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work, you save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Get that personal attention you so richly deserve. If you've been involved in an accident, that should be your first call, the jeeveslawgroup.com. And if you've had your car totaled and you don't think you got a great settlement, that's something that they do very, very well. That's their wheelhouse. Give them a call, free call, see if you have a case. And also with the hurricane damage, if you're going to make a claim on your insurance, call the Jeeves Law Group first and talk to them about what you should say, how you should handle it. In fact, let them handle it because insurance companies don't like to pay out. That's kind of the way they work it. It's kind of how they get rich. So get an attorney and get the best in the business. Scott Jeeves, the Jeeves Law Group. Our Jeeves Law Group Gator Report coming up from Utah here in just a little bit with Scott Carter. We're going everywhere.
We are.
All right, let's bring in our good friend Harry the Greek. Talk some gambling. We're going to do some gambling with Harry the Greek. What's up, partner? How are you?
JP, thank you so much for having me on. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
All picks, guaranteed winners, right? This is
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We can give guaranteed winners after week 4. You know, JP, you've been around long enough. The first 3-4 weeks are very difficult to pick. Very difficult.
I would say in the NFL, but I really think there's value in college football early on. I really do. I'm looking at some games I like, and I like a lot of underdogs. Starting with my the Florida State Seminoles, 2.5 point underdogs.
There you go. That's why you got me.
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one.
2.5 point underdogs to the LSU Go Tigers. Love my Noles as a home dog almost at playing here in Orlando, just down the road from where I'm at. I like, and I also like the over in this game, 55.5. Yeah. I like the over. You got two tremendous quarterbacks and some defenses that, I'm not going to call Florida State's defense elite just yet. I think they have a chance to be. But Brian Kelly's a good coach. I think they'll put up points. I think FSU will put up points. I like the over. And look, if you're going to give me Florida State in 2.5, I'm taking that as well with a nice little parlay. What do you got?
JP, I got to tell you, man, if you like them at 2.5, you're going to love them at 3 and 3.5. You need to wait, ladies and gentlemen, before you make this wager. By game time, wait about an hour. This line is going to increase. And anybody that has been following my picks knows I'm a huge advocate of home dogs, especially in college and in the professional NFL. Florida State should be able to take care of this team. And I wouldn't even take them with the points. If you wait to the last minute, you're going to get plus 140, play them on the money line.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. All right. So there you go. So you're saying over
LSU is not as good as what people think this year.
Okay.
Why do you say that? I have my reasons, but why do you say that?
I just see defensively they got a lot of holes in them. When I watched them from last year, merely from the defensive standpoint, and it takes more than a year to fix a team, especially in defense in college.
Well, the hype is real with FSU. Do you think they live up to that hype? Put your Gator bias aside there, Mr. Greek.
Listen, I'm a money biased individual. Okay, yes, I do have loyalties to the SEC. I also have loyalties, to what Florida State does. I love all Florida teams except for that team down south called the U. Forget about it. They could just break off and go out somewhere in California with.
I love this guy. Love this guy already.
Just being honest, but FSU should have a really good team this year. I think honestly, after they beat LSU. And if they do what I think they're going to do to LSU, they could be and open up as a top 12 team.
Wow.
Yeah. I think they have a great chance to make it to the college football playoff. I was watching the
they do. They just have to win.
Yeah. Well, they got 3 games, right? They got LSU, they've got Clemson on the road, Miami. They got Miami at home. If they can't beat Miami at home, they don't deserve to be in the playoff. And then they'll probably have Clemson again in the ACC championship game. So they got to win 2 of the 3. I think if they win 2 of those 3, they're in the playoff. I don't think there's any question. Because
I honestly think they beat Clemson on the road this year.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I do. Clemson's another team that's regressed a little bit. Let me tell you something. A lot of people are overlooking FSU because of what they saw earlier in the year. Okay, there were some games last year they got very lucky in. But let me tell you something. I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week, especially when it comes to gambling, JP and Peter. But this team has really started to ascend. They're not a descending team. This team is taking off. The quarterback play from QB1, they're doing an extraordinary job. And that coaching staff, they have these boys ready.
Yeah.
And I don't get too excited about college football, JP. I never have. I do. I'm enjoying it as a fan. I'll pick a couple of games that I'll probably take a look at. This is one of the games I was looking at, and I like them on the money line. I wouldn't even bother taking them on the points.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's talk a little. I'm sorry, I'm going to hit you with some college because it's more no pro games this weekend. Utah and Florida tonight. 14th ranked Utah is playing their 3rd string quarterback, Cam Rising, still coming back from his ACL injury. Florida, they're not a super talented bunch. They're very, very young, but I like their head coach, Billy Napier. This is a tough spot for them on the road at Utah, a team that they beat last year or they upset last year. 4.5 point favorite Utah is. Florida breaking in a new quarterback. I like the under in this game more than anything. It's 44.5. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of scoring in this game. What are your thoughts?
Actually, I got it just the opposite way. I don't like a position on a side. I think Florida's in trouble traveling that far out, but I think you're going to see some garbage points at the end of the game. And I actually like the opposite, JP.
Okay.
I like the over in this game. I honestly think that Florida's going to score anywhere between 19 and 22 points. So if that tells you anything.
Guys, it's actually and this is according to Brett McMurphy, this is the first non-conference road game. The last time Florida played on the road, you have to go all the way back to 1991 against Syracuse, where they lose 38-21.
Wow.
Kirby Dardar was the star of the game.
Kirby Dardar.
Kirby, I haven't heard that name.
Yes.
JP, did you also know that this game has actually gone up to 5.5?
5.5 now.
Yep,
Wow.
it's now 5.5. Utah's an extraordinary team. They're hard to beat at home, but that defense is very suspect, and I think Florida might be able to put some points up on them.
Yeah, they're going to run. Florida's going to run the football. They're going to run the football. They've got two really good backs. Their offensive line is new, but they're big. They're going to run the football. That's why I think they run the ball, keep it low. I don't know if Utah's going to score a lot. I know nothing about this third string quarterback, to be quite honest. So, he could be an All-American in waiting, but I don't know. I kind of like
start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. Any thoughts on the USF Western Kentucky game at all? We just got Leo to jump in on there.
I don't know much about Western Kentucky and USF this year. I am a fan, though. I'm rooting for our hometown team with USF to try to go ahead and take that one. I don't even know what the line is. Where is the game, JP?
It's at Western Kentucky.
It's at Western Kentucky. I know Western Kentucky always puts up a lot of points, though. That's for sure. Whatever the over and under is, it's probably not enough.
Yeah, I think it's 55, and I think
wow.
I'm gonna go over. Whatever it is,
going
over.
I'm going over as well, and that's not a guarantee pick. This is a complete guess by the Greek. Yeah, but I do know that Western Kentucky puts up a ton of points, and USF has not been that good on defense the past couple of years.
They're awful. They're awful. Like you say, it takes time to fix defenses. All right, let's jump in a little bit on the pro ranks then. Tell me a little bit about. I think one of the easiest totals on the board is the Bucks over 6.5. This roster is not a 6.5, 7-win team. I think it's better than that. And of course, injuries crush any NFL hopes, right? But I think if this team stays relatively healthy, they're at least an 8-win team, probably a 9-win team, could get to 10. What do you think?
Just read both hands.
Oh, wow.
10.
Just read both hands.
55 wins. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, 55 wins.
Well,
hold on. We got 1, 2.
Okay. I got you.
I got him at a 10-win team. First off, the question is, the pundits around the country, they don't like the Bucks. Some people are saying 2 and 3 wins. I just say hogwash. I mean, what do they really know? Okay, yeah. They're homers and they're rooting for their teams. Look, I always give perspectives from a handicapper's eye. Okay, I watch a lot of game film, a lot of coaches tape. I like what I'm seeing coming out of Tampa this year. This is a very bad division that they're playing in. We'll get into the New Orleans thing if you want to talk about that for a few minutes, because everybody's super high on them. But when was the last time? Here's the question. When was the last time the Vikes have beaten anybody by 6 points, or let alone 6.5? Because let me tell you something, JP, by game time, don't be surprised it's not 6.5 and 7 points. But
I tell you what, get to 7.
I'll tell you what I do like, JP, rather than taking the spread, because we don't know what we're getting with Tampa. We do know they're going to run the football. We do know they're going to play a really good defense, and it's going to set up those passing lanes on the play action. And the Vikings, their linebacking core is absolutely atrocious, and their secondary sucks. Pardon my French. But anyway, 45 is the total. Come on, guys. Let's be real. Tampa's going to run for 3 touchdowns in that game. That's 21 points. And if they, by mistake, throw for 1, that's 28. How many points is that? How many points is that high-powered offense for Minnesota going to get? If you held me into a corner, I have to take the Bucks plus the points, but I really like the over in this game. What are your thoughts?
I'm right there with you on both. That looks like a nice, juicy little parlay or teaser if you want to go that way. If you tease it, I think it's an automatic.
Yep.
Did I say automatic in gambling? Did I really say that?
You did just say that.
That's almost as bad as when there's a horse coming down the stretch. He's up by 5, and you go, beat me from here. Yeah, I said that last week. And the 5-horse, Joel Rosario, falls off his mount going to the wire. Now, listen to this. This is for the pick 5 paying over $30,000, JP.
No.
He falls, and I'm looking at the screen going, what? What's going on? Wait a minute. The horse crossed, but so did his body. His body crossed first. Does it count? Does it count? I'm going to the NYRA. I'm going, what's the rules on it? My wife's the mutual manager for Tampa Down. She's going, oh, honey, I'm sorry. The horse and jockey both have to be mounted going across the line.
Hold on.
I'm really impressed by your compassion for the jockey as well. The guy's like bouncing off the turf. He's concussed. He's lost a leg, and Harry's like, "Oh my God, give me a ruling on this.
Give me a ruling." Yeah. The jockey's okay, right? He got up good. Did he get through? But
you didn't give a shit about that jockey. Who you kidding? Who you kidding? There wasn't one shred of one scintilla of your brain thinking about the welfare of that jockey.
I thought about it for a second.
Or did I?
I thought about it for a second. JP, I got to tell you a funny story.
No, you didn't.
Santa Anita 2 years ago, I'm sitting over at Derby Lane. I'm with Big Stan and Mark the Shark and a few other of my buddies hanging out there. And we're alive in the pick six. I've got a bullet, which is a single going into the fifth leg. And this horse is like the predominant favorite. He's supposed to be Secretariat in this race. And right when they're coming out of the gate, and if he wins the race, I have an all going into the last leg.
Right.
And I got bomb, and now I'm waiting for this piece to come across. He's dead chalk. I mean, he's a Bob Baffert horse. And my buddy Stan turns around and he goes, shit, Harry, all this guy's got to do is just make sure he just rides the horse. Just stay on the horse. As soon as the gate opened, there goes the jockey. I turn around and I'm beating my buddy over the head with the program. What is your problem? You know the rules of gambling. Beat me from here and don't say anything. It's almost like a no-hitter in baseball. Leave the pitcher alone.
Yeah.
I had my no-hitter going. But those are funny
beats,
stories. But
man.
yes, bad beats. I don't like talking about bad beats, but that's hilarious. All he's got to do is stay on the horse, and the jockey got thrown from the horse like it was nothing.
$30,000.
35.6, but who's counting? He threw the horse at the finish line for 35 grand. I'm like, really, Joel? Arguably,
how does that happen? I mean, how do you fall off a horse that's gliding to a victory?
Honestly, in all fairness, and I hope Peter's not watching this because they want to destroy everything. Horses are spectacular athletes, okay? But they have leg injuries just like NFL players. And apparently it hit a soft spot. Look, I felt bad for the horse. I was mad because I didn't win. They had to euthanize the horse because the horse ended up breaking its leg. And it does happen. Occasionally it does. But they're bred to run. And let me tell you something, man. It was just so sad to see. But I was upset about the money as well. But, I mean, let's just be honest. That's how it happens. They step in a hole,
Yeah. Well, and at the moment you're just thinking about the bet, but then you realize, okay, this all
without question, without Jake.
So we joke, but the compassion is real, absolutely. Like nobody. I mean, it's funny because people like, oh, they use these horses and all that. I'm like, nobody feels sorrier for a horse that has to be euthanized than the trainer, the owner, and anybody else. I mean, they don't. You're
a horrible correct,
thing. And the bettors as well. I mean, they know horses. They have compassion for horses, and if you haven't realized by now, a thoroughbred horse has a better life than any of us. They are more pampered. They are more pampered than any of us, and they get to do what they love to do, which is run.
Yep, and all Florida tracks. I don't know if you knew this or not. If you use one of the tote machines to make your wagers or go ahead and cash your wager out, it'll ask you if you want to donate to the Horse Association, which is even more care even after they're retired. Okay, but generally those horses, they end up going out on the farms and they become studs. I mean, I'm not going to get into a long dissertation. It's a really good life.
It's kind of like Peter's life. Yeah. You're just a stud out there in the wind, all the horses the fillies coming over to you. Yeah.
And Peter does this. What was that?
What?
It's a filly.
What?
Wow, look at that filly.
Yeah, look at that. All right, so you got the.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent. But
that was a good one, though. It's a good tangent. Well, I asked you about the season total too for the Bucks, 6.5 over. You got them at 10, so you're.
I got them at. You ready for this, JP? I bought them when they were 5.
Wow.
And I bought them when they were 5 at the beginning part of the season, and Then they went to 6. Now they're 6.5. But don't worry, that total is going to continue to come down because when Sports Illustrated comes out and says, "Hey, they're a good 2-win team," there's going to be a lot of money being bet on the under. So Vegas is going to have to drop that number.
I got to ask you about this. Are you familiar with Madden 24 or the Madden game?
I don't like to play it, but I'm very, very, very familiar with it. Yes.
So, like the fact that they've called the last 3 Super Bowl matchups, and let's think about that. The Bengals before the season, who was picking them? Nobody. The Eagles before the season, nobody was picking them to be in the Super Bowl. Yet Madden 24 has picked the last 3. You can go back to the Bucs Chiefs in the COVID year. I'm like, so this year they're picking the Bucs Chiefs again. And for Baker to throw for 37 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,500 yards, and the Bucs to make it to the Super Bowl. Now, look, I'm as optimistic about this Bucs team as anybody, but I'm not even doing that. But I think is there any validity to the science that is behind this game?
Yes.
I mean, they rate the players. They rate every one of these players. The Bucs players have some good ratings because they got a good freaking roster. They got a good roster. There's a lot of good players on this team. And, this 6-win, 5-win bull crap is to me is just a national narrative based on, Tom Brady's not there anymore. Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. Oh, they're going to suck. 5 wins. I mean, that's about as much analysis as I think goes into it for these national people.
That's a great point. Madden uses a lot of analytics as teams use analytics in baseball. So analytics, let me tell you something, they're a very proven commodity. And if the analytics are always correct, then they don't need professional handicappers such as myself.
I know.
But then again, things in the world evolve. But going back to what the general public and the pundits are talking about with the Buccaneers, when you had Tom Brady, first off, he never should have played for this team last year. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion that I'm going to have. He didn't want to be here. Shame on the Bucs organization for letting him play. When he wanted out, they should have kicked his ass right out that door when they wanted to.
Agreed.
And I'm not going to get into, I didn't want to go at the team meeting. I'm going to go hang out with my old boss. You were not the consummate team player, and you're not the Tom Brady from before.
Listen, we were saying that on this show last year during the season. And I know it's become kind of a popular take now, but during the season last year, we were saying that. And you're spot on. Absolutely. 100%. When in 2021, when he started picking up the phone from the Dolphins at the middle of a playoff run for the Buccaneers. And when his teammates found out about that, how do you think they felt about that? And then, we're not going to get too much into it, but then the Bucs organization, basically getting extorted by Tom Brady to get rid of their head coach in Bruce Arians and then create this dysfunctional dynamic with Todd Bowles ascending to the head coaching, Byron Leftwich becoming a rogue offensive coordinator for the baseball, and Todd Brady just basically trying to run the team. It was a disaster. Even when it's the GOAT calling the shots, who knows more about football than anybody, it's a disaster.
JP, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent because this is something just like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. This is something that just grinds my gears. This team opened up last year. Okay, with Dallas, they ran the ball all over the place. The second game, they ran the ball all over the place. And because the focus wasn't on TB12, it was like, wait a minute, time out, guys. I got to throw the ball 45 or 50 times. This is me. I'm Tom Brady. It was clear and apparent. That's when their losing streak started to come across. And when he didn't want to show up in training camp to hang out with his fellow teammates because other things were more important, forget the divorce. Everybody's got a story, JP.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a story. You got problems. Peter's got problems. I got problems. We just don't bring them out to our normal jobs and on the field. And if we did, it causes a distraction, and you are not the team player. He never should have been on this team. But let's fast forward because he's gone in good riddance. It's not that I disliked him. I didn't like what he did to the team and held them hostage the way 100%. They did. Baker Mayfield, you will see a new quarterback. When he got traded or he got picked up by Carolina and didn't have the complete success, and then he went out to the Rams, Peter was sitting in my living room for that game, and he goes, who do you like in this game? I says, I absolutely love the Rams in this game. And he goes, how? Why?
Right. So I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
You will see something different.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the offense. I says, no, but he's going to rely on his basic talents and skills. And shame on Cleveland, JP, for almost ruining this kid's career. with a bad back and a bad knee and a bad neck, and he goes, "Hey, I want to play." Well, any football player who's a gamer wants to play.
Exactly.
Your job is to sit his ass down on that bench and said, "Get healthy," because you were the franchise. You were the quarterback. You are the face of the Cleveland Browns. But they cared more about this than they did the health of a human being. And Tampa Bay fleeced this agent for Baker Mayfield because they got him on the cheap. He's going to be the comeback player of the year. This is going to be the reason why the Bucks do make the playoffs.
And I could certainly see that because you look at Dave.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a long
I love it.
diatribe,
No,
but
I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you.
Aggravates me, man. Aggravates me. And I was never a Baker Mayfield fan coming out of college. I never was. But what's right is right. And the kid's got talent. And there is no reason why he's not leading an NFL franchise.
Yeah, and I tell you right now,
he
has not been helped by the changing of coaches. He hasn't been helped by, not having a consistent offensive coordinator. And, furthermore, he's going to have the weapons that I don't think he's ever had. I mean, people say Odell Beckham, but I feel like Odell Beckham is living off that one catch. You have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You feel better about that situation.
Yeah, I do. Definitely. I mean, whenever you have those players on the field, I mean, what else are you supposed to have there? I mean, JP said it best. This team has talent.
Yeah.
And there are pundits out there that are saying this team's not going to win more than 2 or 3 games. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So who's supposed to win more? Houston?
Yeah.
Arizona.
Arizona?
Arizona. Yeah.
You're putting them on the same playing field, and hold on.
They got Carolina winning the division, bro.
Oh, give me a break. Carolina and New Orleans are going to be the 2 teams that are going to be struggling for the basement dwellers in this division. And I'm going to have to give it to Carolina because the inexperience of a Bryce Young, who's not tall enough to see over, let alone an NFL line, but yet alone Pee Wee football line. Yeah. And don't get me started about the New Orleans Saints. There was a reason why there were NFL teams, and my ear is always on the ground, why people weren't knocking on the door banging for a particular quarterback that went there. That's because his shoulder is no good. He can't throw the ball to his left. He's bouncing every pass. Everything is short moving to his left. And trust me, NFL defenses out there are going to see that, and he's going to have to prove them wrong because they are going to flush him to his right and make him look left, and there's going to be a problem in New Orleans.
Wow.
Interesting.
Love
Interesting. Yeah, and their roster, and first of all, I don't listen. I have to give this disclaimer every time I say these things. I love Todd Bowles as a human being, and he's a great dude. And I'm really pulling for the Bucs to be successful this year. The only thing and this is the only thing that holds me back is Todd Bowles. His track record as a head coach is not good. I didn't like the way he handled the things last year and managed the team. We just talked about the dysfunction that was going on. Well, for me, if I'm the head coach, I fire Byron Leftwich week 4, week 5, week 6. Whenever I'm telling him to run the football and it's not happening and it's not successful, when you saw it in week 1, I got issues. And as I like to say, Dallas to Dallas, look at those 2 games, the first game and the last game. Did this team get better? No. It got markedly worse. And I'm not saying that's all Todd Bowles' fault, but if you're the head man, you're in charge, your team can't deteriorate that much over the season.
You're right, JP. This team actually has a better football team this year than they did last year.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I agree. I completely.
They have a better football team this year than last year. Offensive line still a little bit of a question mark, but it's not going to be as much of a question mark because they're going to run the football.
And they have a varied offense that it's going to put the offensive lineman in a much better position where the defense doesn't know exactly what you're doing on every play, exactly where your quarterback is going to be. You have a limited amount of options offensively because your quarterback won't hold the ball for more than 2.1 seconds. I mean, any defense can eat that offense alive. Given that. Yeah.
Here's a good one for you, JP. I had Peter over at the house, and I'm going through some games, and he's looking at it and says, "What do you notice on it?" He didn't really notice what it was. It was either you, Peter, or it was Ray.
Yeah.
I was like, I want you to look at every single play in these 5 games, and I broke it down in about 30 or 40 minutes. And I says, and I want you to tell me how many DBs and safeties are looking into the backfield after the ball is snapped. JP, you could count on one hand on how many times a corner or safety after the ball was snapped wasn't looking backwards to see where the ball was coming from. They were just covering the pass because that's all they knew they were going to do. They relied on their own front four to go ahead and stop the running game because they were so predictable. This year, the way they're going to run the football, the corners and safeties are going to have to peek into that backfield, and that's going to set that play action pass up because they are going to have so many wrinkles running this football. It's going to be scary. And here's a prediction. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Top 7 in the NFL in running the football.
Wow.
I love it.
That's how good this running. They are going to. Some games are not going to run for so many yards because they're going to be 1, 2, 3 out, 1, 2, 3 out, 1, 2, 3 out, and all of a sudden you see a 65-yarder. If you commit to a running game, it will give you success, and that is one thing that this OC is going to do for Tampa this year. Look what he did for Seattle last year.
And that's why I think Baker will have a turnaround year because of what he did last year with Geno Smith, and he certainly has the opportunity to be the comeback player of the year. And then furthermore, you look at how Seattle focused on that run game with Marshawn Lynch in the past, Ken Walker last year. I think Rashard White could go over 1,000 yards. And I know you're not a fantasy football guy, but they have him in the 7th round. If you can get him in the 7th round, that is all kinds of value at the end of the day.
I would make sure, and people that know what they're doing, especially fantasy players or anybody that's really good at gambling, if you get a chance to get a White earlier, just pick him up. I mean, don't wait till later. That would be ridiculous. He's going to get the vast majority of the touches out of the backfield. He's really good at also catching the ball out of the backfield. And Baker Mayfield loves 2 things. He loves his tight end up the middle, and he loves hitting the running back, floating to the outside of the linebackers. There's a lot of yards that are going to be had there. There's going to be a real good extension of this running game. And I'm telling you, I'm excited to see what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do this year because that is my ascending team that nobody is picking to go through. And also some of the other teams that are out there, they're going to be up and coming. Watch out for those Chicago Bears. Doing a lot of nice things on offense.
Sal Pal loves the Bears.
Yep. And here's a real good one for you. The New York Giants, even though they made the playoffs last year, this team might surprise a lot of teams in the East this year. A lot of teams, including Peter's very own Philadelphia Eagles that we had such a heated discussion with last night.
Listen, they're not my Philadelphia Eagles. You know who I.
You sounded like you were humping their leg. Trust me.
Listen, they've gotten better. I think they've gotten better. You get Jalen Carter there. You got Nolan Smith. They got better on both sides of the ball. Yeah, they had some losses, but let's not act like they're not the class of the NFC. Besides maybe San Francisco. That's all I'm saying. Like a guy like Daniel Jones, I get it. He gets a big-time contract extension, but he only threw 15 touchdowns last year. I'm not ready to buy, the New York Giants winning that division. But
third year in that system.
You may be right. You're exactly right.
Third year in that system. And let me tell you something. There's a reason why. And they're very frugal up there in New York. They don't hand millions of dollars out to just anybody. They're the only team that's not as cheap as what the Hallases are in Chicago. They throw around manhole covers like they throw nickels around like they weigh like a manhole cover, like a sewer. Trust me. There's a reason why they did it. They believe in Dayball. And that defense.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach, and he's going to utilize that kid to his best talents. But you know what? I'm going to give you another surprise team that I don't think is going to be as good this year because there's so many teams in that division that got better. That's one's very own Buffalo Bills, who everybody's picking not only to go, but to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't even have them winning their division this year.
Damn. Okay.
Wow. I think both the Jets and the Dolphins might be better.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Harry, great stuff, my man. We'll do this every week. We appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
And hopefully we got some winners this weekend with college football. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
JP, have a great one. Peter, thanks a lot, guys, for having me on. I got to get back to work. Y'all have a great day.
Go back to work. Yeah, there you go. Pray for that jockey, will you? Pray for him. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Scott Carter is going to join us from FloridaGators.com as we're going to get you set for tonight's big tilt with 14th ranked Utah, the Gators on the road. Early on a non-conference game. Who scheduled this thing? All right, we'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially With summer coming to an end, the holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. JP Peterson. How you doing, buddy?
I am well, sir. Do we have Scott Carter on the line?
We do. We actually do have him on the line right now. Let's go out to him. Go ahead, Scott. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Sorry that took so long, my friend. We're having a couple of technical difficulties, but we got you on, and this is great. I can't believe the season is finally here. We got a big college football game to talk about. What's the atmosphere like out there in Utah?
You know, Gators got a very warm reception yesterday. I've been to a lot of these road games over the years, and I don't think I've ever seen as many like hotel staff and even some police and everything kind of saying hello as the big line of team walked in. So a warm welcome. You can tell here just watching the local news and everything, this is a big deal. First time an SEC school's ever played at Utah, guys. So, Utah came to the Swamp last year. This is the finish of a home-and-home series, and now it's Florida's turn to repay the favor. And obviously, it's a season opener for both teams. I'm like you, man. I'm just glad there's some football here because I don't have to.
We're not talking about realignment and NIL. Like, let's talk some effing football here. And there's a lot to get to. I was reading some on your column and other places about this Utah defense. That Kyle Whittingham's maybe his best defense that he's had. They're big, they're experienced, they're talented. What are your thoughts on a relatively inexperienced Florida line and a quarterback in Graham Mertz who has experience, but not with the Gators, going up against this defense?
Yeah, that's going to be a big factor, I think, something to watch in tonight's game. Utah does have some experience up there. I know their big nose tackle, Samo Pepe, who had, 4 sacks last year, which led all freshmen in FBS. He's a big-time player, young guy. But they have some experience. One thing that, Utah has harped on, they missed 29 tackles in that game last year against Florida. So that they're going to put a premium on tackling tonight, especially those running backs, Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson Jr. But it will come down a lot like it always does, especially in a matchup like this. It's going to be the offensive line against their defensive line. I think that's a strength for Utah. And the offensive line for Florida, is somewhat of a mystery because you've got 4 new starters up there, and the only guy who is a returning starter, the center, Kingsley Eguakon, he is listed as questionable. There's some questions whether he'll be able to play with a lower body injury, so that would mean Jake Slaughter would move in there. So it is going to be something to watch tonight, guys, that battle up front.
Yeah,
Scott, go ahead, Pete.
No, I'm sorry. Scott Carter here, talking Gators in Utah. I mean, Graham Mertz getting the start. Your opinion? Do you have confidence in this kid?
You know, I've come around to Graham. I watched in the spring, and he was getting settled, and you know, I didn't know what to make of him. He didn't look a lot different to me than Jack Miller, the third. But then I saw the way he just really kind of established himself as a leader. And you could tell he got more comfortable, and he looked a lot better in the fall preseason camp to me than he did in the spring. And I like everything about him in terms of that position, the mentality that he brings to the locker room. It's going to look totally different than what Gator fans are used to the last few years with, you know, Anthony Richardson, Emory Jones. You know, he's going to go more back to the typical drop back passer, which they haven't had one of those really since Kyle Trask. And, you know, Graham Mertz has experience. He's got 32 career starts at Wisconsin. He's had some moments up there before he transferred where, you know, as always, he had good moments, bad moments, and then eventually he thought it was time for a new location, and they changed coaches up there. But he's going to be a game manager type quarterback. And as long as he can do that, guys, and make those throws that he needs to throw and move the chains, I think the Gators will be fine. But you know, if you're looking for 80-yard touchdown runs and somebody who can throw the ball 75 in the air, he's not going to be your guy.
Yeah, that's going to be just a kind of a shock for Gator fans who are so used to watching a quarterback with maybe as much athletic ability in Anthony Richardson as we've ever seen in college football to a guy who's not that. Let's just say he's just not that. But, you know, he's a distributor, and you've got some talented players, not only in the backfield, but let's talk a little bit about Pearson and some of the wide receivers. And you got some young kids, one from Tampa that's gonna play a lot of football tonight. The receivers. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, you know, yesterday on his first conference call with SEC Media, Billy Napier was asked about, you know, name some guys who have stood out. And he specifically mentioned the receiving trio of the starters are Ricky Pearsall, as you mentioned, and Caleb Douglas, and Khalil Jackson, Willie Jackson's son, who has kind of emerged here, a surprise. And the kid from Tampa you're talking about, who they really like, a true freshman, Eugene Wilson III. They call him Trey Wilson. He's going to be a factor for sure on this team. And I think this is a position that can really help Graham Mertz and the offense, obviously. We know the running game, what they can do there. But anytime you've got a quarterback who is one like Graham Mertz, who distributes the ball, tries to stay away from mistakes, you want guys who you can rely on, who are dependable, don't necessarily need to break every pass play for 50 yards, but guys who can move the chains and catch the ball when needed, go across the middle. I think they have a group they like there, and it's going to be, you know, Pearsall's the guy who everybody knows of. He's a transfer last year from Arizona State, really was their best receiver. I think they're expecting bigger things out of him, but I do think they have some young players they're going to rely on a lot this year.
Scott Carter joining us from Utah here. It's the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. The Utes are 12-1 in home season openers under Whittingham. The Gators rarely go on the road. I think it's the first time they've ever, as you mentioned, the SEC school up there. The Gators rarely go on the road for season openers like this. And I even forgot this, but Utah is the defending Pac-12 champions. Is that a league anymore? Not sure. But they are, and it's the last year of this group, and this is actually one of the most talented Pac-12 years ever. So this is a good football team, and they're playing at home. A young Gator football team that, you know, certainly they played. A lot of these kids have played in SEC stadiums. This is not going to be any shock to them. But as you mentioned, some freshmen are going to play tonight. So I'm worried about how does this Gator football team handle a hostile environment like this and in an opening game like this.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is undeniable. I mean, it's like you said, Utah's a very good football team. They've won 14 in a row at home, 26 to 28. They're a team that they came to Gainesville last year, and if not for a late interception, the final seconds, they had a chance to win that game. Florida got the win, but this is going to be, as you mentioned, it's going to be a big test. We're going to find out some things about this Florida team, about some of these young players. But if they can somehow come out here and pull this off in this environment, I mean, it's a huge confidence build for this team. And, I know with Cam Rising unlikely to play the quarterback for Utah, I think that changes a lot of people's perceptions. I think a lot of people seem like be on the late bandwagon with the Gators, JP. You see more people not write them off in this one. And I'm kind of right there. I think this is a winnable game for Florida. And if they can do that and get some production from the young players, they will certainly fly home on Friday from Utah feeling a lot better about the season.
It certainly seems like they're going to have, an opportunity, an advantage there, because outside of the Pac-12, this stat out there, since 2018, Utah is 4-7 against, again, outside of the Pac-12. So,
good stat. Factor, it is a good stat. Florida, it's unique. This is the first Thursday night game in the regular season for them since 1992. And as you guys mentioned, no SEC team has ever come here. How about this one? First time that the Gators have opened a season opener on the road against a non-conference opponent out of state, or overall since 1987, back to Miami.
Whoa! I was at that game in 1987. Yeah.
Games over the years, but not a straight-up road game to open the season out of conference.
Good stuff. All right, Scott, last question for you. Surprise Gator that will be a factor tonight that maybe we, kind of a fringe guy that maybe the masses haven't heard of. Anybody jump out at you?
Well, I like the receivers. And, we talked about Wilson. But Khalil Jackson is one that kind of surprised me. Not necessarily. I mean, this guy's a former walk-on.
Yeah.
Earned his way onto a scholarship. He's got a long history at Florida. His grandfather, Willie Jackson Sr., was one of the first 2 black players ever at Florida. His dad, Willie Jackson Jr., was a great receiver for Spurs in the 90s. And here Khalil is kind of, a lot of people wrote him off, and he's worked his way into a starting role. And you keep hearing guys in camp talk about this guy's ready to be a player for this team. So I'm as curious as anybody to see what that looks like on the field. It's a big opportunity for him, and it's a position that we just talked about. They're going to have to help Graham Mertz, so they'll be tested right away.
All right, 8:00 ESPN. We're going to have to sit through those You're going to have to sit through those 3-minute and 30-second breaks, the extra ones they've added every quarter now that they don't have a first down clock stoppage. That was a nice little thing that they kind of shoehorned in there. I'm not a big fan of that. So you'll have plenty of time to get up in the press box and go ahead, grab another hot dog tonight, Scott. So looking forward to it. We'll chat with you next week. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Appreciate you. All right. Good stuff there. We have open phone line, by the way.
Oh, we do. That's right. We have the open phone lines. By the way, want to just make sure everybody knows the Gator Report brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. I'm not sure if Scott made it. He goes to a bunch of away games. I don't think he's going to this one. But big Gator fan. He will be watching tonight. And we are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. So thank you for that. All right, yes, we have. Yeah, give out the numbers. Let's go.
Yeah, 727-255-0391. And the other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. It's the JP Peterson Show. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the great JP Peterson. You look at this game, and it's pretty easy to bet the under, but we talked to Harry about this. He said the over. So
we're disagreeing on this. I just look, Utah's got a tremendous defense, right? Mm-hmm. I think this Gator offense is going to roll with when they get going with this offensive line. This is the first time I think they've got 4 new starters, only the center coming back. So, in a hostile environment, communication is the thing, right? You got to get the line calls, work together. That's going to be tough for them. And I think they will have a really good. I mean, Montrell Johnson is one of 5 backs that's had over 800 yards and 10 touchdowns in the last couple of years. He's a tremendous back, and Etienne is a really good running back. but you got to have some holes, right? You got to be able to. And this is a stout Utah defense, so that's where I just don't see the Gators being able. Now you stop the run. Now you got Graham Mertz. He's not a guy that's going to run around and make plays. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to distribute the ball. I just think this is a tough matchup for the Gators. I think eventually they'll get this running game going and get this offense going, but I don't think it's going to be tonight. And I don't think Utah is going to take a lot of chances on offense with their second and third string quarterbacks out there. So I don't necessarily see them scoring a lot of points. I see them winning this game, 20-10, 24 to 7. I just don't see a ton of points in this game. I might tease this game, tease the under, and tease Utah that's where because if the Gators win this game, they're not going to win by much.
Right.
If they win this game, they're going to win the game plowing Utah and keeping the ball on the ground, shortening the game, and winning it maybe 17-14. So that's the kind of game I think we're going to see. I could be dead wrong, but that's where I'm going with this one tonight.
I mean, do you think that's the key to the game? You take the pressure off of this quarterback, even though he has 30 starts at Wisconsin.
If you're Kyle Whittingham, what's your game plan tonight? We're going to get after him defensively, a new quarterback, new offensive line. Yeah. We're going to bring the pressure. We're going to get after this guy. And we're not going to take a whole lot of chances on offense. We're going to run the football, keep it simple, wait for them to make a mistake and pounce on them. I mean, you're not certainly, if you're Utah, you're not like, let's go out with our third string quarterback and start throwing it all over the field. No, you're not doing that. Not when you got a good defense in a home crowd who's going to be jacked up for this game. I think it's just a bad fit for the Gators. It's a bad matchup. It's a bad fit. Thursday night, even those crazy Mormons will be drunk by 8:00 at night. You never know.
I want to go back to this. You remember John Gruden in 2006 when he threw out the third string quarterback at the time, Bruce Grakowski? You had high winds at Giant Stadium and you threw the 40 times. I mean, that's the kind of game plan you hope that they're not going to do because
I was there. I was there. I was on the sideline. My kid, what hair I had left was blown off my head. 60-mile-an-hour winds, and the Giants are like, listen, we're gonna put 12 guys on the line of scrimmage and dare you to pass. And Gruden's looking at a sheet and going, wow, they got 12 guys on the line of scrimmage. We should be able to throw the ball. Well, unfortunately, on your chalkboard, it's not blowing 70 miles an hour in your face. we had Gradkowski on a couple of years ago every week when he was with PFF, and we've asked him about that game, and he's just like, all right, coach, sure, whatever you say. And I think the Giants threw it like 3 times that game. Yep. They must have been, just sitting back and laughing. Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tonight. I haven't checked the weather, but it's probably, and it's a little bit at altitude as well. So that's going to give, the Gators a little bit of adversity as well. So I just think all across the board, it's a bad matchup for the Gators. I'm not trying to be anti-Gator. Listen, I picked Utah to win last year in the opener, and Florida took it to them. So I was wrong. I was wrong there. I was wrong on Netflix when I picked Ohio State to take care of business against them. So what the hell do I know?
Well, some things here. I mean, you can't be right about everything, right?
We'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah, and maybe a close game again. And if it is a close game, do you feel like that favors the Gators, or does that favor Utah?
Close game. I'm going to go with the more experienced coaching staff, the more experienced team. Mm-hmm. That's Utah. So I just, again, everything. Show me where the Gators have an advantage in this game. Like, show me a segment where they have advantage. Offensive line versus that defensive front seven. Nope. Defensive line, the Gator defensive line against the experienced Utah offensive line. Nope. I don't see a win in the trenches. Quarterback, I would say Graham Mertz against the third string quarterback is probably an advantage. He's more experienced quarterback. So they got that going for him. I think the Gators skill players, running backs, probably better than Utah. But overall, as I mentioned, all those other factors, I think that plays in Utah's favor. All right, we got to hit another break, Peter. Let's hit another break. When we come back, I want to get into, we'll hear from Kevin Cash. If you missed our Rays segment early on, we'll revisit that a little bit because I want to hear him talking about pulling Zach Eflin. I want to hear Zach Eflin talk about getting pulled, but kind of a minor story there. And we'll get to some of the other college football games as well. So stay with us. More to come here on the JP Peterson Show.
Sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue, that's my carrier, love them, paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. As we got some updated breaking news from our friends out at One Buck Place, or the Advent Health Training Center, whatever you want to call it. Mike Evans is back in practice today. That's good news, right?
Yes, absolutely it is.
My man, Servassier, which, by the way, I now sign in at all hotels under the surname Servassier Peterson. When I get my Starbucks, of course, I never go to Starbucks, but if I have to, what's the name on that order? Servassier.
Servassier.
How do you spell that? Any way you want. It's Servassier. He's back at practice, which is good, but you know who's not? Is Kalijah Cansey and Antoine Winfield Jr. still not working.
And I could see Tally in the background is not happy about that result either.
Well, no, she's not. She's not happy about that at all. She's getting up, shaking it off, getting ready to go play week 1 against the Vikings in case she's needed.
Is that worry? Is that a worry for you that Cansey's not ready and Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Yeah, going up against Kirk Cousins and that, Jefferson in that passing attack, you need Winfield out there, and you need Cansey out there to put pressure on the quarterback. So yeah, that's not a good development, but injuries are part of football. And the good thing is we're still 11, 12 days away.
Yeah.
So hopefully those guys can get back. I'm probably more confident Winfield is going to play than Cansey. Calf injury with Cansey, you don't want to hurry that back. I don't know. We don't get a whole lot of information on injuries, so we don't know how severe it is. But you just kind of read through the tea leaves, and Jason Light did say today that he feels like both of those guys are going to play week 1. They're trending in the right direction, so we shall see.
That's a good thing. You would think that Antoine Winfield Jr. would want to play against the Vikings. Of course, his dad being a Minnesota Viking, so you would have that date circled at the end of it. So and he needs to play because he could be up for a big-time contract extension. He's going back to his natural position. And then furthermore, with Kancey, I think Todd Bowles and this defensive staff have big plans for him going forward with, how to rush the passer and how to get creative, not only rushing from the inside, but also from the outside.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how this pass rush develops. I'm a guy we haven't really talked a lot about is Shaq Barrett.
Yeah.
And it's like getting Von Miller on a free agent contract, right? It's like, I mean, he's a guy that's capable of putting up 17 and a half sacks. We've seen it do it, right? He hasn't necessarily been as good as that breakout season, but he's healthy. You watch him move around. You see no remnants of that Achilles injury whatsoever. Obviously he's been through a tremendous, tremendous tragedy in this off season. And he talked about how football is kind of an escape for him. He'll never be able to, quote, escape what happened with his daughter, who tragically drowned, if you don't know, this offseason. But, life goes on. You got to move on. And the best way to honor anyone's memory is to give it your best, right? And that's kind of, he's verbalized that. And I expect Shaq Barrett to have a nice season. I really do. He's looked good from a physical standpoint. I mean, so much of this is a mystery because we haven't seen these guys play hardly at all in preseason, especially some of these defensive players.
Right.
So, but we saw him play. We've seen him play in the regular season. We know what they're capable of doing. That's a much better barometer anyway. So I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the table. I think Joe Tryon-Shoyinka has shown me some positive things in this preseason. He's bigger. He seems to be moving with much more confidence. I like what I've seen of him. Anthony Nelson is just, the guy just gets better every year and produces with the limited amount of snaps that he plays. He's a good football player. Not saying he's the greatest, but he's a good football player. He's a nice piece. Vita Vea, he's healthy. He should have a big season. He's a huge part of what the Bucs want to do. I'm kind of excited to see what this defense can be all about. And if the freaking corners can catch the football, they can be elite. They can be elite in taking the ball away. So again, excited to see what the Bucs are going to do.
It goes back to Carlton Davis. He said it best. We're going to wreck. And if you're going to do that, you got to cause turnovers and you got to get after the passer and you got to play better than you did last year. And it seems like, once again, they have a chip on their shoulder and they may be in some close games. And that's where Todd Bowles, that's where his pride is, right? He's a defensive guy. He's a defensive coordinator. He knows that defensive unit didn't play well last year. Yep. So they got something to prove. And
especially at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yes. And hopefully they come in with that chip on their shoulder where they're going to knock somebody's ass off. They're going to knock them out. That's what you got to do. That's the kind of defense you got to have.
Yep. It's going to be so interesting. There's so much unknown about this team, but with Harry said, and he and I are in lockstep as far as that goes. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the Bucs bring to the table. But of course, a lot of this, we're talking about college football, and there's a lot of news out there coming up this weekend. Harbaugh at Michigan he's suspended for the first 4 games. And word is, I heard Peter Burns talking about this on ESPN this morning, that this is going to be his last year in college football. Just, and you hear this a lot from college administrators. And I talked to Skip Holtz about this, and these head coaches, they're not long for this game. College football is a mess right now. It looks good on the field, but behind the scenes with the NIL, the NCAA still trying to hold on to power. And, nobody knows what the rules are. Anything the NCAA does now is completely at odds with what's going on with NIL. So it's kind of a mess. And, this is why Harbaugh, I think, had so many of those recruiting violations, a lot of them during COVID. I mean, who the hell knew what the rules were during COVID? I'm not trying to make, excuses for these guys, but recruiting violations now are a joke. It's the wild, wild west. You pretty much can do anything as far as NIL goes. You can flip it around and put it into an NIL thing instead of a quote booster paying. I mean, the NCAA is still holding on to rules that boosters cannot pay players and give them extra benefits, like not even a hamburger. Like you're going to try to enforce that rule when you have NIL? I mean, it makes zero sense. Like recruiting violations. I mean, it makes zero sense. And so, I mean, if I'm Harbaugh, as crazy as he is, I mean, why would you want to stick around for this when there's probably 5 to 10 teams in the NFL that are salivating to give you their head coaching job. So yeah, this will be his last year at Michigan. I think he's out. And
to me, I'll tell you this, not to interrupt you, but I did anyway. But for me, the perfect job is the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I get it. They're a god-awful organization, but he knows the owner. You have a young quarterback there in Anthony Richardson. I get it. They also have a young coach. I felt like he should have taken that job in the first place, and I feel like Harbaugh is more suited for the NFL. Why is everybody so down on Harbaugh and what he did? Remember, he got the best out of Colin Kaepernick. When he left, Kaepernick was a shell of himself.
That's right.
He got some winning seasons with the 49ers. I don't understand why teams are not tripping over themselves to give him a big-time contract. I don't understand it.
I think more of that. I was shocked that he didn't take the Colts job this year. I don't know why that didn't happen. And I think the problem is he's a weirdo. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, Harbaugh's a weirdo.
Yeah.
The khaki stuff, the way. I mean, have you seen his press conferences? He's just very, very paranoid of the media. He's just kind of a weird guy. Some of the stuff he does at practice, the way he handles his football players. I think a lot of professional teams are probably like, is this an Urban Meyer? Is this a Matt Rule? Is this a college coach that is all rah and can handle and young kids look up to him and like, well, it's and they'll do it, yes sir, whatever you want. Pro players aren't like that. Like, I don't know how his act would play in the NFL now. Now, of course, we go back to the 49ers. Your point is well taken. He coached well, but that was a little bit ago. And I don't remember him being as weird when he was with the 49ers, Like, I remember him being more of a jovial guy.
Yeah.
Like more of a, I just kind of a fun-loving guy. And ever since he's been to Michigan, some of the interviews I've seen, and it's just like, I'm like, what like, I don't know there's just something, there's a vibe about that dude that's just different. So I think maybe I don't know how he interviews. Like, I don't know how he would interview with an ownership group and a GM. I don't know. So
is he becoming Greg Schiano weird?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what kind of weird. Yeah. And I think he's weirder than Schiano, honestly.
Wow.
I guess there's just something
weird.
Yeah, it's just something off with his vibe to me. But somebody's going to pay him. Somebody in the NFL is going to pay him with the success that he's had at Michigan. Someone's going to pay him, and who knows? Maybe they win the national championship year. They're loaded. They are freaking loaded. But let's remember this: the Big 10, Big 20, whatever the hell you want to call it now, one championship in the last 25 years.
It's true.
One.
And that comes down to talent. That comes down to what the SEC has that the Big Ten doesn't have. And what I think the reason why you're trying to do that realignment is because you're trying to attract those athletes to the Big Ten so you can compete with those SEC teams or ACC teams, more likely SEC, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're just more professional. They're more varied, right? Mm-hmm. The Big Ten is a running football conference. It's still – I know Ohio State spreads it out. I know that some of these other offenses are starting to catch up, but they're still kind of more of that more conservative offense. They're Alabama, in 28-17, before they came to the spread offense. And when they get into the playoffs, it just seems like these other teams are better than them. The records are what the records are. One championship in the last 25 years. The ACC has 3. In that time, the Pac-12, the now defunct Pac-12, has 2, and they have 1. So it is what it is. Can Michigan break through? We'll see. If any year they could, this would be the year.
Cupcake schedule, big time.
Oh my God!
I mean, we looked at it. It's one of the easiest schedules in all of college football.
Call that one up while I do this live read for the Golden Diamond Source, and we'll go through this literal cupcake city schedule of Michigan. Labor Day is coming up, folks, and of course, the folks at the Golden Diamond Source want to honor American workers and their contributions to the country. They know you work hard for your money. They're going to reward everyone with a 4-day Labor Day sale, Friday through Monday. The entire sale, you get 3-year no-interest loan towards a diamond engagement ring, anniversary band, or any fine jewelry purchase. 3 years, 0 interest. Find that anyplace else. They will pay double for your old gold or diamond jewelry towards a new jewelry purchase double. So bring in those old earrings, rings that you're not wearing. They'll give you double towards a new jewelry purchase. Of course, their staff is the best around. They make you feel comfortable, whether you're a first-time buyer or you're heading back for the 3rd time this month. They'll treat you right, get you whatever you need. And remember, you don't want the holiday sneaking up on you again this year. So if you want to get ahead of the game, or you have an anniversary or birthday coming up, now is the perfect time with this sale going on. Get in there and take advantage. That's 3-year interest-free financing, or get double your trade-in during the Golden Diamond Source Labor Day weekend sale. Nobody better in the community than Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source. Keep that money local and go shop there for their Labor Day weekend sale. Starts Friday through Monday. They didn't get flooded out, so they're good to go. Head on over to their beautiful showroom. And by the way, our condolences to all those folks who did get flooded out. I was seeing some of the video this morning, and man, it looks bad in a lot of different places. So, living near the water, it's a blessing most of the time, but it can be a curse. So
yeah, very fortunate some of the Tampa Bay area didn't get a direct hit because, I mean, honestly, I got to ask you, do you think this area would be ready for something along the lines of that?
Look, you're never ready for that.
Right.
Nobody's ready for what happens. When those places that make the direct hit, when you get 8 to 10 feet of storm surge, it's get out of the way. It's only property. It can be replaced. It's going to take time. It's going to be inconvenient, but it is what it is. The great thing about a hurricane is we know they're coming, right? We know they're coming and we know what they bring. And, yes, we've had a lot of near misses, but I know it's inconvenient to get the hell out of there. But when you're told to evacuate, get out of there and go to higher ground, do what you got to do, come back and clean it up. Just make sure there's no loss of life. That's the big thing. Tornadoes, earthquakes, those are different deals, man. We know when hurricanes are coming. So heed the warnings, be smart, err on the side of caution, right? I was just telling my stepson the other day, when you got choices to make, it's a very easy way to do it. What's the upside? What's the downside? What's the upside? You're alive. What's the upside of you staying in your home when you're told to evacuate? Well, you might be able to get a little, look, at water's coming in. What the hell are you going to do? If 2 feet, 3 feet of water are coming in your house, you think you running around putting towels around the doors is going to help? No, it's not going to help, folks. No. The only thing's going to happen is you're going to get flash flooded. You're going to get washed away. Your kids and your pets are going to get washed away. That's a downside. That's a real downside. So look at the possible downside. You lose your life, So just be smart. Be smart. Don't be one of those people that, I can ride it out. No, you can't. And what's the upside of riding it out? Oh, I rode out the hurricane. You get to say that. Oh, well, how's that going to sound when you're dead?
It's not. They're going to be no sound. You're going to be dead.
The other part of that is putting first responders in peril to come get you. Because they're going to feel a responsibility, even though we told you to get out, to come get you, and you shouldn't put them in those positions. That should be for those who really, really need it, and you just don't put the pressure on them to have to do that. That's not cool. So just be smart. All right, give me that Michigan schedule.
Oh, yeah, the greatness beginning this Saturday versus the mighty East Carolina Pirates.
Who wants to see that game? Schedule somebody.
Wait a minute, hold on. All right, the next game, UNLV. The basketball team or the football team? I didn't even know they had a football team. Are they any good?
unless Larry Johnson's playing for them and Stacey Augmon, no, they suck. They suck. So no.
This guy sucks.
All right. Bowling Green.
Oh, Bowling Green
versus Michigan.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Shut up!
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see it. All right. I believe this is Greg Schiano's Rutgers versus Michigan. Now, this was somewhat of a close game last year. This is entertaining television, right?
Shame on Michigan for that. Shame on Michigan for that.
All right. Michigan plays the great Nebraska.
Matt Rule. We'll see what he can do at Nebraska. Hey, by the way, how about the volleyball team at Nebraska bringing out 92,000 at Memorial Stadium last night? How about that?
Absolutely. Great. Let me give
the five-time national champion Nebraska Cornhusker women's volleyball team did a match against Omaha and put 92,000 people in the stadium. Breaks a record for women's sports. Breaks a record for outdoor sporting events it's just unbelievable that first of all, Nebraska, what else is there to do? I don't want to diminish it, but watch the corn grow. But still, there's a passion for sports that I love about Nebraska fans. And I love me some Nebraska fans. Those people, I love their passion for sports, whether it be football or volleyball or whatever. They love it. They're good, corn-fed Americans that just work their ass off and love sports and all the lessons that they bring about, rewarding excellence. And that's what they do. I know their football team hadn't done crap in a long, long time, but you know what? They still sell out. They sell out all the freaking time. So bravo to Nebraska volleyball. Bravo to Nebraska fans. Bravo, bravo, bravo. That was really cool last night. I saw some of the girls on ESPN talking about can you imagine those volleyball players? Like there's 92,000 people watching them play volleyball. They're like, yeah, there were a little bit of nerves and it was a little bit windy, stuff you don't have to deal with, but it was, that's a remarkable event. And, tip of the cap to all the folks involved in that.
Well, absolutely more relevant than the Nebraska football team, which is saying something at this point, because Nebraska for so many years had winning teams with, Dr. Tom Osborne, Tommy Frazier in there. All right, let's see here. Michigan versus Minnesota. Any interest?
No, pass.
No. Okay. Indiana versus Michigan.
If they're playing hockey, I'll watch.
Right.
Football, no.
Not so much.
You go row the boat. We'll see.
All right, there you go. Indiana versus Michigan.
Indiana. Again, we playing basketball or football? Next.
All right. Michigan versus Michigan State. Now,
there you go. There you go. A little rivalry action, although I don't think Michigan State's going to be very good this year. Yeah. Next.
All right, next. Purdue versus Michigan. Of course, Mike Allstott's alma mater right there. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Like if you're Michigan, if you're a Michigan football fan, right? You're sitting there going, yeah, we're going to go undefeated, but who cares?
Right.
Like, who cares?
Okay. November 11th. Here we go. Ready? Here's a drum roll. Penn State.
Oh, where's that game?
That is, that's in Penn State.
Okay, so they got to go to Happy Valley. Oh, they got a tough road game. One tough road game. Okay, great.
Yeah, there you go. What did you do? All right, Michigan versus the great Maryland. Any interest?
I love turtles.
All right,
like turtles.
And then the last game right here. You know what it is. It's about the national championship and, of course, the Big Ten Conference Championship. Michigan versus Ohio State. The last game of the year, JP.
All right. So they play two tough teams. Look, I look at Florida State's schedule and I'm like, okay, at least they're playing they're playing Miami. They play Florida. Their out of conference games are Florida and LSU. Okay. There's a crappy team in there. I think North Alabama, but two of their three out of conference games are LSU, number 5, and then another SEC team in Florida who, obviously that's always going to be a tough game. If your non-conference games, like your conference games are what they are, I get it. But you're not, if your non-conference games are those games, that's on you, and you're a coward for scheduling these people, and they should be penalized, in the rankings for that. But whatever. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And maybe it comes down to a controversy where you start talking about Michigan being undefeated, or I don't even think they can have one loss. I mean, let's say you lose to Penn State with the strength of schedule. Can they really make something out of this by still beating Ohio State and being in that championship chase to go to the playoff? I think you can make the case because their schedule is so weak. You're not going to be able to make a case for them. Just my opinion.
All right, real quick. We haven't talked about our commenters today. That's I apologize to all you. Christopher Cole pointing out that the Cubs have won 12 straight series. Go Cubbies.
Yeah, go Cubs. Go.
Go Cubs. Go. James says 4 touchdowns for the Bucs in a road game. 1. I was thinking the Greek was going to be on the under. He said the Bucs will run and play good D. That usually under. I know. I don't know, but the number's kind of low, frankly. So we'll see. Pearsall is going to be the best wide receiver in the nation. I truly believe. Jordan G smoking that Gator weed, baby. Keep it up. That's going to be Keon Coleman, brother, and Johnny Wilson. Gators got the W last year against them. It was all downhill from there. That's right. I think Utah will probably remember that. Jeremy Lowe says, bring Logan Ryan back. Is he healthy?
Is he on a team yet? I mean, why would you bring him back? You got young.
If Antoine's hurt.
Yeah.
Went to the College Baseball World Series a few times in Omaha. Solid city, way better than I ever anticipated. Yes, College World Series, Omaha, been there, done that. Fantastic. I'm telling you, there's great people in Nebraska. And damn, them steaks in Nebraska. Woo!
Whoa.
Best steak I ever had was in Nebraska in Omaha.
Okay, real quick, because we had this debate on my show. I like a well-done steak. Are you the same way, or do you like it medium rare or something along those lines?
You like a well-done steak? Like you take a New York strip and make it well done?
Yeah.
You're fired. How about that? You're fired. That's how much I don't like that. Come at me with a well-done ribeye, ruin a good piece of meat. You're fired. Jesus. That's almost as stupid as this comment from Jeremy Lowe. Florida will defeat Florida State this year in the swamp. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jeremy, if you're right, I swear I'll be taking the next week off. Did the storm fill the Tropicana Creek to wash the garbage away? Can a storm not come through and rip the roof off that trash can, for God's sakes? Does that make an episode they have to go play at Steinbrenner Field for the rest of the season? Just please. No, we're not that lucky. It's the nuclear waste underneath the Tropicana Field is probably still there. So, yeah, maybe the little creek going through there's probably full, but unfortunately it did not wash away Tropicana Field. All right, that'll do it for us today on a Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow to talk all about the Gator game and all the great football that we're going to see tonight. You guys have a great day out there, and we will see you tomorrow.